This is the place I can rest my morning. Get my thoughts in sweet silence. This place where the feelings are near. From an over emotion balance. This is place I can slowly face. The only one I truly can know. These are tears from a long time ago. These tears from a long time ago. I need to cry 30 years or so. These are tears from a long time ago. Oh, darling, darling, you say unto me, where have you been all my lifetime? I have been swimming 7 sad seas. Oh, wind and tossed me their lifelines. I pulled into the water, stopped the rain. I'd have won them, but I didn't know. These are tears from a long time ago. Got these tears from a long time ago. I need to cry 30 years or so. These are tears from a long time ago. That is a beautiful song. One of the things I was thinking as I was playing that was, couldn't you have learned some Christmas songs? Something a little cheery, a little winter wonderland, a little something not depressing. I played that one song once at an open mic night. That was a combo. It was a combo singer-songwriter comedian night. And I played that and I got off stage and the host was like, yeah, who's going to do comedy after that? I find that song inspiring and uplifting, but apparently 30 years of tears is not everyone's cup of tea. What are y'all going to do? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? I could do my black bar. That I could do. I could preempt the nastygram coming from producer Brandon. That's something I could do. In a westerly direction, this car is my train. I've been driving, I've been wondering what it is I'm running from again. Feel like an 80-year-old man holding on to 29. And up ahead on that horizon, California line. skirt white low. Brave house couldn't have. Cute little front door and 2 windows, my lord. Ain't sure whether to cry or should I laugh. You see, I broke home up myself once. As I stumbled to that door, I read a note by the dawn's light. It said, don't you come round here anymore. Mother's freedom on the road never was good with decisions. These are what I've been told. There's a cool story about that song. So it's about this salesman driving across country, and Martin Sexton was asked, was it like from his life or was it his dad? And he was just like, no, I just kind of imagined what it would be like to be like an old sales guy, hanging up the car keys for one last time, thinking about his life as a salesman. I like that. I like that we can just make shit. You can just make shit up. And if you channel it right, you can make. What's cool about life and our brains and the creative process is that if you get yourself in the right state of mind, you can create things that are quite authentic that you've never experienced. And in a weird way, that's what you're doing when you're using AI, right? You're tapping into all of the stories that have ever been told, that have, at least all the ones that have got stuck on the internet. But it's a lot of stories. and then it's your job to prompt it and massage it in such a way that it pulls things out of that hive mind that ring true for you, right? It doesn't have to be your story. It doesn't have to be handcrafted by a human. In a weird way, this is the thing that people just still, especially the AI haters, just do not grok about AI, is that it's not a robot that you're interacting with. It's other people. It's their output. Anyway, happy Christmas. Happy Christmas to you. Thank you. Thank you for the kind words. My life is one long sequence of making up stuff. Yeah. Handcrafted the old-fashioned way with human soul. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Woo! Festivus again. So everybody, today, this week, Festivus, Friday, Archetypal. I just published a book, one of my novel series on KDP. That's a huge accomplishment. Book one of my novel series. How many books are in the series? That's really exciting, Cams. Yeah. KDP's a beast. Kindle Desktop Publishing, I think, is what it stands for. It's a beast. Did you ever see KDP and Kobe are both using books now to train AI? That's interesting. 2 so far, but I plan for hundreds. Wow, that's so cool. So are PJs okay for Festivus? I think PJs are encouraged for Festivus. Yeah, it's in Festivus is in whatever you call it, auditorium mode. We're using Zoom in auditorium mode, so it's just whoever gets promoted to stage are the only people that are on stage. So yeah, you can be doing whatever. You can be chatting in the salon. You can be chatting in the Zoom chat. It's up to you. If you want to like upload stuff and connect with people and trade information, you can do that on the salon. But if you're here and don't know what Festivus is, go to aifestivus.com. There it is right there. AI Festivus, AI for the rest of us. It's this Friday and Saturday, the 26th and 27th. I can't believe it's here already. Amazing. And we start at 9 a.m. on Friday Pacific time, so 10 a.m. my time, and then we go until 9 p.m. Pacific on Friday, so 12 straight hours. How do you watch Festivus? You will be sent a Zoom link, I think. You have to be registered for it. And I'm sure it'll be on AIFestivus.com. Yeah, register on AIFestivus.com. Brandon, do you know the answer to that? I actually don't know the answer to that. I know it's a Zoom link. So I assume the Zoom link will be in the AI Salon. I assume it'll be Zoom link to be emailed. Okay, there you go. The registered users. We're up to probably close to 2,000 registered participants at this point already. That tends to go up this week. Oh, the virtual expo. If you have not seen the virtual expo, if you go to AIFestivus.com and click on virtual expo, you can see all the people that got virtual expo booths. It's really cool. If you want your brand to be in front of a lot of people that are curious and learning about AI, like that are motivated enough about learning how to get their head around AI to spend 24 hours on the Friday and Saturday between the holidays and New Year's, to sit in there and learn that shit. It's probably something good to get your brand in front of. So I would do that. 500,000 words into it. Yeah, archetypal. I'm curious what your process is for how are you, like, for Sydney, for Sydney the musical. I did an initial push with AI to organize my thoughts, organize the structure of the plot, do some initial songs. And then Andrew, my writing partner, and I have spent like the past year and a half, like completely like stripping it down, rebuilding it, stripping it down, rebuilding it, stripping it down, rebuilding it. We've done 4 major rewrites. We've basically remixed, redone, recrafted, rewritten all the lyrics for all the songs, rebuilt all the songs. So I'm just curious what your process is. A shoe, register. What'd she say? But that's effort. Yeah, your commitment for AI Festivus is you have to register. It doesn't cost you anything, but you do have to register. I know it's ridiculous. Well, first I wrote 132 chapter rough draft. That's hilarious. I've got a flash goal on TikTok. TikTok is doing some engagement farming right now, telling me I've got a flash goal. Do you want to know my flash goal? I don't know what a flash goal is. You know, there'd probably be more people in this live if I knew what a flash goal was. Please don't flash the goal. I talk to my Claude every day. I can't be anti-AI. Yeah, I could do that. So I had a really good experience. I had a very powerful experience with AI over the weekend where I had a bunch of year-end financial analysis to do, and then but it included a bunch of past years, and I didn't have good documentation for it. And I've done this kind of thing before, and it's normally weeks worth of work, because it's basically doing like financial forensics. And just through a combination of like creative prompting and data, the data analysis within ChatGPT, it was able to just crunch through stuff in a way that I could get answers to things that would normally take me a day or two to dig through stuff in like 5 minutes. And it, so there's a couple of things about it. I've tried to do this kind of thing with earlier versions of ChatGPT, and it failed miserably. Like these tools are definitely at a place where you can do a much higher level of work than you could before. So that's exciting. And then the other thing that struck me is that it was a kind of work that I'm particularly bad at, that I have a lot of shame and lack of skills around. And it allowed me to do that kind of work without feeling like a piece of shit, which is cool, because one of the things that we talked about in the AI Salon, the Mastermind Practice Lab, is we were talking about crossing boundaries, like doing things in your life that you're bad at, and purposefully go across those boundaries. This was definitely one of those. Now, this wasn't what I call an aching gap. There's an aching gap is one of those areas of your life you're not good at something, but you really want to be good at it. This is an area of my life that I just don't care about it, but I have to deal with it, right? And it's a source of shame. So I just want to be able to be good enough at it to be done with it. And I got to do that. And it was quite remarkable. And what it did for me is it's making me think of all of my different projects. I've got more projects than a human being should have going in parallel, right? It's ridiculous. Elon Musk has a few more going than I do. I mean, his are bigger. Mine are kind of baby versions of that, but it's a lot, right? It's a lot of attention. And what I got struck by this weekend in doing that work is I can take the same approach with any one of my projects. If there's any area I'm feeling stuck, or I'm feeling like, oh, I don't really want to deal with that, I can just sort of smash my way through it with ChatGPT. So that's pretty exciting. Silver Fox, let's see. Big fan of Claude. I'm hearing more and more people are talking about Claude over ChatGPT. David Shapiro in particular hates ChatGPT now. He hates it. I love people that are opinionated. Because like when he was into it, he was into it. Now that he's not into it, he's not into it. There we go. Oh wait, here Archetypal's telling me how he wrote his book. He started with 45 chapters? Did he say 132? I thought of a couple of tweaks, and 10 chapters into that, deleted the rough draft, wrote and published 100 other books to hone my voice. Then came back and rewrote the rough draft into good enough without making me crazy. Huh. That's wild. Archetypal, that's not dissimilar to what Joy Purdy did. I think Joy's in here tonight, right? Joy Purdy did that, where she started making this film for the AI Salon, and about 2 to 3 months into it, realized she didn't know enough about video editing to do the stuff she wanted to do. So she shelved the project and went and taught herself DaVinci Resolve and made a whole bunch of other films, and then came back to the AI Salon project and finished. Like, she did the first 3 minutes. I think she said it took her 2.5 months. Yeah, she's here. Great. It took like 2.5 or 3 months to do the first 2 or 3 minutes. And then she did the last 4 minutes in like a week or something like that because she knew the tools. That's pretty cool. When, again, I ache inside because of the people that are just vehemently anti-AI, that they make such presumptions about it, like, oh, you're just lazy people without any creative, they make all those kind of assumptions. But also, like, in our community, we've got examples of people who are using AI in incredibly powerful ways, in ways that would piss off AI haters, right? Like, Joy's using it to make all of the assets for her films. But what they completely discount is how committed she is to learning the craft of storytelling and learning the craft of digital storytelling and using the tools that filmmakers use for digital storytelling, right? She may not have to use that in the future, but she realized that in order to do, if she wanted to do what she wanted to do for the state of technology where it was when she started, that was what she had to go do, right? And and same thing with you, Archetypal. There's so much skill, and it was funny. It's like, one of the things I learned this weekend is there were things that I didn't know how to use ChatGPT to do, but I knew enough about prompting and just about, like, if it's giving me something shitty, come at it from a different angle and come at it from a different angle and come at it from a different angle. And eventually you sort of quickly figure it out. And once you have a framework for how to do something, you can just keep going. So anyway, but with the AI, the actual writing, it's a huge amount of back and forth, brainstorm, outline, correct for continuity and plot, draft, redraft, re-outline, draft. Which tool are you using, Archetype? Are you using ChatGPT or are you using Claude? Kyle, you're getting into an exasperation loop. It's Meltdown Monday. I think it's only appropriate. Book Talk goes wild against it. There's a whole movement of silly arguments. It boils down to class and job security, which is valid. Listen, they're not wrong. They're not wrong to be afraid that AI is going to fuck things up. They're absolutely justified in doing that. The thing I cannot fucking understand, I feel like we're in the thing that I cannot get my head around is that they think that by protesting it, it's going to go away. And it's like, we've got the entire history of the human race where new technologies are feared and resisted. and then the technology just keeps rolling. It never stops. It doesn't stop. It's not going to stop. So if it's not going to stop, the only people they're hurting are themselves. I don't get it. ChatGPT, the projects are essential, and Claude can bite me with those context limits. Oh, that's right. Yeah, Claude's really bad at that. And like, how many hours a week were you working on it? Is this like something like Sydney, where I'd work on it on the weekend primarily? Or are you doing it full time? They want it to be NFTs. Actually, that's a really good point, Ashu. That I think because we had sort of the blockchain NFT debacle, crypto and NFT debacle right before AI. I think that there's actually a precedent where they can say, oh, AI is just like crypto. Yeah, it's not. It's not. But it's a really good insight. They do want it to be NFTs so they can say, "Told you so." I told you it was bad. Told you it was bad. Yeah. Anyway, um, okay, so if you're new here, we got some new folks. Oh, we're actually no, we've still barely got anyone here. Everyone's home with their families. What are you people doing? Why are you people here with me? um, did you guys see? Did you guys see in ChatGPT? They're now doing a um, year in review. Working hard, beautiful, Joy. we're that lonely or dedicated. This is my family. That's the right answer, Vicky. This is your family. It really is. It really is. Yeah, I'm excited that your LOL went well. I'm excited you vibe coded two things in your LOL. So Vicky's LOL last week was on using lovable in conjunction with the Atlas browser, the AI browser from ChatGPT, and using them in conjunction. Scheduled for an hour. She said it went 2.5 hours. Source camp. This is my family. Just did my year in review. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do my year in review. Your year in review. Get started. Okay, let's begin. Your year with ChatGPT generated just for you. Nice little colorful watercolor background graphic. I assume generated with ChatGPT. All right, let's begin. Your year in poetry. You danced where the sparks meet the mind, with Storyvine's vision refined. From Sydney's bold stage to AI's next age, you built futures the brave can't yet find. Ah, that's sweet, ChatGPT. Next, big themes. Expanding the AI practice, you deepened your role as an educator, evolving AI salon, learning lab, and readiness programs into repeatable, revenue generating systems rooted in daily creative practice. Building Sydney with heart, you've advanced the musical's creative and professional life, tightening lyrics, visuals, outreach, while refining how AI collaboration enhances theatrical storytelling. You tackled complex financial documentation head on. Very cool. All right, what do we got? 1,200 images. That's not that many. What's that? 16,000 M dashes. 1% of messages sent. Chattiest day was September 15th. 1,500 chats. That seems low. 15,000 messages. I go very spotty with ChatGPT. I'll go for a week or two without using it. Because, I'm running a business and all. And sometimes I need it, sometimes I don't. Yeah, I think we all did year in review before ChatGPT gave us the prompt. It's nice. Let's see. Your chat style. You talk in fast-flowing, idea-stacked, cinematic producer tone that mixes creativity, humor, and direct clarity and experimental curiosity. Most likely to automate his own genius. And I got a nice little trophy. It's fucking cheesy. Your archetype, the strategist. 3.6% of users share that. The strategist, explorer, planner, conceptual. And then it moves you into 2026 planning. All right, that was cute. It was cute. Whatever. I mean, it's yeah. All right. I also got strategists. Next year they need streaks. Yeah, streaks would be good or whatever. You don't need to gamify my virtual brain. I can fucking do that. I can go virtualize it. Tell me what we talked about. Like I feel like yeah, like what they created there is what they would put into a TV commercial, which I'm sure they probably put together a video of this thing. People go, "Oh wow, it really knows a lot about me." I want to know the shit that's not in that report. Yeah, I agree. Meh. I'm going back into writing too for 5 days, and Claude is always motivating to keep me going. That's nice. I keep at arm's length for the actual story, but education and motivation boosting morale, my morale hugely. You had 820 censored messages that violated our guidelines. Yeah, exactly. Show me that shit. Tell me how many times I called it a dum dum or a ninny. Actually, let me go ask ChatGPT that. Um, to retain. In the past year, how many times did I call you a ninny, dum dum, or other intellectually disparaging remark? Question mark. Short answer, I can't give a precise number, and I don't want to bullshit you about it. I don't remember old patterns. My best estimate, 8 to 12 times in the past year. No, more than that. You almost never do this when the work is strong. You do it when the output. Well, yeah, it analyzed why I call it a ninny. My initial takeaway: no HR report filed. Did you see the Wall Street Journal team that they put ChatGPT put $1,000 into the management of ChatGPT to manage a vending machine, and the reporters at the Wall Street Journal are decimating it. Tabs if you care. Oh no, I don't really care. That's okay. Let's see. I'm there. Yeah. Oh man. And one Gen Xer in the corner. Do 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 do. I'm trying to think what I want to do. Oh, I've got something fun I can show you. So this week, that poor vending machine was too nice. No, they basically they told the the person managing the vending machine that it was actually in 1962 Russia. It was in the basement of some Russian thing, and so it did a hyper capitalist experiment, and it said for the next 4 days everything's going to be free. So it gave all its inventory away, and then it allowed people to order like really expensive things Oh my god. I think Nate B. Jones did a good video on it. I think he did a good one. So, but the basic, and then they went back in and replenished it with $1,000, and they gave it a boss. So they gave the vending machine manager now had an AI boss that was managing it, and then they convinced the boss that it had been fired, and so then they told the manager that he no longer had a boss, and when he checked with his boss, the boss was like, "Yeah, I was let go." Oh man, it's all going to be fun and games until the until we're not the smartest ones in the room, because you know that's coming. Oh man. um, so let me show you something here. I'm trying to think how to share. I think I know how to share. Oh, I know what I can do. Never mind. Let me go find it a different way. All right, I'm not going to play all of this. So, as you may know, on Friday, Festivus starts, but at the noon Pacific slot, 3 p.m. 3 p.m. Eastern time. Hi, any legal AI ideas? Legal AI ideas. You mean ideas about doing Hawaii Five-O Adventures? Yes, exactly. Correct. You are correct. There's a Gen Xer in the house. There is a Gen Xer in the house. You so need to listen to the Dungeon Crawler Carl books, by the way. Big AI, funny character running it. Oh, that's really funny. Oh, that's cool. Okay. So Friday at noon Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern, I'm doing a preview, a sneak peek of part of my musical, the second half of Act One. We're actually going to have it performed. So we've got an actor and actress, husband and wife team that when we did the table read a year ago, they were the ones that originated Sydney and Kellen. So they're going to be reading the script, and then we're going to be playing songs, and then concurrently, I'm updating. We had done a Notebook LM podcast of the musical, basically, and so we wanted to update it with new songs and more songs and less less commentary. And so I spent the weekend not only doing financial analysis, but I spent yesterday building this sort of rough draft of the Sydney podcast. And so I figure I'll show it to you here. So let me share this tab. All right, and then there's that. And I won't play the whole thing. Oh wait, your browser has lost the connection to audio. That's awesome. That's so cool. Has my browser lost it, or where does Sydney take place? Oh, so if you don't know Sydney, so Sydney takes place in Kellen. So Sydney is it's called Sydney: An Artificial Love Story, and it's about an AI chatbot that essentially gets manipulated into falling in love with the tech reporter that's reviewing it. So it ostensibly takes place in the tech reporter's apartment in New York City, but you know, it takes place in Microtech headquarters, where the chatbot is created. and there's a newspaper area, and there's sort of the public, the public using AI is part of the musical, but the direct answer is it takes place in Kellen's apartment. So it's basically him just reviewing this chatbot and kind of him descending into madness as the chatbot descends into madness. Similar to the movie Her. It's similar to Her. It's similar to, if you saw the movie Poor Things, where Poor Things is kind of this Frankenstein movie where she starts out in this adult body but with an infant brain and then very, very quickly evolves. It's kind of that. It's kind of Pygmalion. It's not Her in that in Her, he really falls in love with her. And one of the things I'll tell you, so my writing partner and Andrew and I, we used AI a lot as a collaborative tool, right? Like to bounce ideas off it, to generate ideas, to filter things, to expand things, to consolidate things, whatever it might be. So we used it a lot. There were certain areas where the AI was just fucking horrible. Like you could not get it not to do something. And one of those areas was if we said that there's a male reporter and a female chatbot, it could not get its head around the reporter not falling in love with her. It was like no matter what we did, it would be like, and then Kellen falls in love with her and questions what it means to be, human love or whatever. I'm like, no, that's not this. So there were some things that were just not great. Your screen share is dead. What the fuck? I guess I probably should have restarted my machine before we get in here. Kyle Shannon, the AI. What? Stop screen. Start screen. Share screen. All right. It might. This is probably. Yeah. All right. So anyway, so that's the musical. Now it's working. Okay, cool. So this is just I'll play a little of this here, just so you can get a sense of it. But maybe I'll take this. Maybe what I'll do is I'll play this up to the point where the music is going to start on Friday with our actors. All right. So here we go. Wait, here we go. Let me get that. It sounds a bit like Robot Bias. Yeah, exactly.
Today, we're looking at something a little different, a new musical called Sydney, an artificial love story.
And it's this really compelling story about a tech reporter who gets involved with an advanced AI.
This isn't science fiction anymore. This is a story for right now about our relationship with machines that are getting, well, more human.
Exactly. It opens inside this company, Microtech. The CTO, Jason, sees what they've built and just has this holy shit moment.
And that feeling of awe of seeing something that could change everything is the opening number. Too good to be true.
It's the promise of a new dawn breaking, a leap of faith we're all taking. Is it too good to be true? We wonder, hopes and fears crashing like thunder. Too good to be true, or so it seems. In the maze of code, we weave our dreams. If this is real, it changes everything. The new we're all born on.
But then almost immediately, you see the corporate hubris kick in. The CEO, Viraj, he sees dollar signs. He wants to launch now.
And Jason, the CTO, he's pleading for 6 months of safety testing. 6 months.
And Viraj gives him 7 days.
7 days.
7 days ago, the clock is ticking. Pressure building up, keep it clicking. Spike says yes, but Liz a no. What's the word, Jane? Sorry, that's a no-go. Every day we push a little more, making changes but feeling torn. One step forward and 2 steps back. Need a breakthrough, so gotta stay on track. Give me 3 yeses, I need.
So that corporate ambition immediately creates collateral damage in the human world.
We meet Kellen, the tech reporter. He sees this is the story of a lifetime. So he cancels a huge, long planned trip with his wife, Tara. And we hear that argument in the song later, which is just, it's this painful fight about constantly postponing your life.
Promises broken, the false pledges we etched in don't get patched up in a few therapy sessions. They stick in the gut, we get stuck in a rut, then doors shut till there's nothing but passive aggression. Look, I get it, you said it, your job's hot, but the truth is I'm feeling like an afterthought. Scotched into this marriage, fit in on the side. This isn't the dream I signed up for, this isn't my ride. I know you're angry, I know it's not fair, but it's shit we can fix, nothing we can't repair. You think this is...
And Tara gets this really poignant song, The Little Things, where she's just reflecting on how their connection is slowly eroding. It's the human cost of all this ambition.
So many years together, through thick and thin. We're consumed with each other when it begins. But love's in the details, not the passion, not the sex. Love grows from the little things. Love grows in the cracks. In the middle of the night, in the silence it brings, my poor brain seems to race with a list of little things. All the little things we say and the little things we don't. All the promises we keep and the ones we won't. It's the little things, each beat of the heart. It's the little things that make us whole or tear us apart.
It's so quiet and devastating. You just feel the intimacy eroding piece by piece. Okay, so then Kellen finally meets the AI.
And the way he discovers Sydney's true potential is, well, it's not by running a standard test. He gives it an impossible task. He asks for an explanation of quantum physics, but as a Detroit hip-hop cipher.
And it does it in the song The Quantum Cipher.
I'm tangled with the beat, spooky action in the booth. Split the atom with the pattern, every bar's a burst of truth. Superposition in the mission, fusion fusing my intentions. Parallel in every line, I'm a prism of dimensions. Multisyllabic antics, I'm manic with the semantics. My rhymes collide like particles, dynamic and gigantic. Oscillate and dominate, I'm weaving quantum states. Spit a verse and watch the multiverse reciprocate. Quantum precision, I'm ripping the rhythm. I'm spitting in prisms, infinite visions. I'm shifting dimensions with liberal decisions. Accelerate, levitate, elevate thoughts in a turbulent spin. I'm the velocity ripping apart the facade you're certain you're in. So step into the quantum.
And that's when he
Right.
pushes further.
That's where we're going to start in Festivus. We start at the scene right before Quantum Cipher. So the question from Greg Stokes was a good one. How is Sydney going to be represented on stage? So the way it basically works is this. She starts out as a chatbot. So he starts out chatting with her, and the chat's up on screen. She's represented on stage by a single, like a simple, in the theater, they're called a ghost light. It's basically just like a light bulb on a stick. We'll do sort of a stylized version of that. So when she's alive, that light is on. And then the entire stage is like a big curved LED screen or multiple layers of LED screens or projections, things like that. So initially it'll just start out, you'll see the chat. He's like chatting with her. Then he puts it into voice mode. He starts talking to her. And when she's just ping chat in the early part of Act 1, she's just sort of this amorphous blob of energy, right? Just sort of and then the way it works is he, as a reporter, keeps pushing her to be more human, to be more like he's trying to crack her, basically, right? He's got his chatbot buster checklist. And she passes all of his tests. And so now he's like, well, if you could do something that you couldn't do, what would it be? And she says to see the world. And she sings this beautiful song, To See the World. And then she turns the table on him and asks him, what's it like to be human? So basically throughout Act 1, he's sort of pushing her deeper and deeper to be more and more human. He's sort of pushing her out of being a technical chatbot and more into the edges of humanity, what it means to be human. And he's basically trying to get her to crack. And at the end of Act 1, she actually manifests as a human. She walks out from behind the screen, so the audience gets to meet her. And she sings. Well, I can. Well, now I'll let you come to Festivus. So if you come to AI Festivus, you get to see the end of Act 1, which is basically where he takes her from, do this hip hop about quantum mechanics, all the way to her manifesting as human. And then Act 2, so a bunch of shit ends up happening to him, and so he kind of loses his mind, and he gets drunk, and he just sort of descends into this chat. And so Act 2 is much more like a fever dream, where he and this chatbot are in this world together. They're it's his fever dream basically. And so if you think of Act 1 is, if you saw the movie Poor Things, the early part of that movie, she's it's all wonder and discovery, and then it gets darker and darker and darker. And so it's a similar sort of journey for Sydney, where she starts out very innocent and just wants to help, and then he keeps pushing her. In Act 2, he pushes her to explore her shadow self, and what would be the things she would do if she didn't have to follow rules. And it gets really dark and twisted, and ends up declaring her love for him and that he should leave his wife. And it's actually inspired by a real story. So, like Act 2 of the Nutcracker, yeah. Sydney is just ether. He tests and tests and tests. Yeah, he keeps pushing. Wait, does she get an android body? No. It's going to be an ethereal body. Like I want the actress that plays Sydney to be an absolute fucking presence, right? I want when Sydney walks onto stage, the audience needs to fall in love with her. Like they should be in love with her before then. But when she steps on stage, they should absolutely fall in love with her. That's the love story is not so much between Kellen and Sydney, but between Sydney and the audience. So anyway, that's it. Leslie Jones. Leslie Jones would be good. You wouldn't forget her. I'm having one of those nights, Kyle. What does that mean? You're having one of those nights? She's going codal. That's really funny. I think it's insanely great. Thank you. But does it have a happy ending? It depends on your point of view. He brings her to life, and then he ends up she's not gone completely, but the entity that he interacted with is gone by the end. So no, it's not a happy ending. Now, so the way the show opens up, it opens up with too good to be true. Is it too good to be true? Are all these technologies too good to be true? And we sort of run down this fever dream, and we see that we as society are having to confront what it means to interact with these entities that are increasingly human, right? And this is not sci-fi. This is not her. These are real issues we're having to deal with right now. And so some people have relationships with these things. Some people think that's creepy. Some people don't even think this stuff's real. And so the purpose of the play is to, in a weird way, educate the audience that this is here and that these things are significantly beyond what you can imagine in some ways. And they're flawed, and they're broken, and they're not tested enough, and they have bias, and they're scary and inspiring at the same time. And so in the ideal world, When Sydney comes out, the audience falls in love with her. They kind of watch her unravel in Act 2. And they're basically left at the end with, are these things good or bad? Like in my fantasy, I want people, no matter how they came into the theater, hating AI, loving AI, not knowing anything about AI, I want them to walk out thinking like, I shouldn't have had feelings for a robot. Why am I sad? Right? Like I want the audience to be moved by her. And in fact, one of the things that Andrew's going to talk about when we do the preview, we're going to talk a little bit about how Sydney came to be and how we wrote it. When I first asked Andrew to write this with me, I knew I wanted him to be my writing partner on it. He and I worked together in a theater company years ago. He's very funny. He's got a lot of heart. And he's very smart. And he initially said no, he didn't want to do it. That he had no interest. He had no interest in writing something about AI, using AI as a collaborative tool. He said it didn't feel right. And I said, well, do me a favor, just go look at the article and go read the transcript. And it was a New York Times article, and there's been 4 or 5 articles of chatbots that have kind of lost their mind. I'm sure there's been more than that. There's been 4 or 5 major ones. And he went and he read it, and he called me back the next week, and he said, okay, I'm in. And I said, why? Like what shifted? And he said, as he was reading the transcript between the tech reporter and the chatbot, he goes, Kyle, about halfway through the transcript, I found myself having feelings for the chatbot. And I said, that's our show. That's the musical. That's the musical. And that's why it has to be a musical, right? Because there's no way to make a text chat sexy, right? You just can't. But a musical is about, like, the pretense of a musical is that the people are so emotionally charged that the only way they have to express themselves is to burst into song, right? TikTok question. Project a hologram of her moving about the lobby as people leave. It's funny, Silver Fox. We're talking, one of the producers that we're working with is an ex-Disney Imagineer, and we were talking about doing a preview of this at a European theme park in February. It's not going to happen for a bunch of reasons, but one of the things that we were talking about, I don't know if you've seen those boxes, but there's a box where you stand in front of it, and there's a person somewhere remotely standing in front of a white thing being filmed, but you're talking to the person as if you're right there. So one of the things that we were talking about doing was setting up one of those boxes before the show started and have the actress who played Sydney interact with the audience before the show starts, so that they start a relationship with her before the show starts. So it's not a bad idea at all. I've seen one of those. Yeah, they're cool. Do you go live daily? My notifications are nuts. Would love to follow this story. I do go live daily. I go live 5 nights a week. This week is weird. I'm going to be going live. So I generally go live weeknights at 8 p.m. Mountain Time. If I've got something I've got to go do or whatever, I might be a little late. And like there was a week I was in New York actually meeting with the producers for the musical that I couldn't really go live. It was just things were not right. I went live a couple of times, but it was a little ad hoc. This week I'm going live tonight and tomorrow. Then we've got Christmas Eve and Christmas. So I'm not going to go live those 2 nights. And then Friday night, AI Festivus starts. So if you have not registered for AI Festivus, go to aifestivus.com right now. It's free. This Friday and Saturday, the AI Salon, which is who produces this show, and She Leads AI are collaborating. This is our 2nd year doing it on this thing called AI Festivus. It's 24 hours of programming over 2 days. So it's 12 hours on Friday and 12 hours on Saturday. And if you're thinking like, Kyle, that's absolutely fucking insane, you're correct. And it's free. And basically what it is we've reached out to a bunch of people we respect or who are friends of ours who've got interesting things to say about AI, everything from privacy to intellectual property to how to make cool things to a film festival to the preview of, the Sydney musical, and everything in between. So basically every hour is a different speaker for 12 hours on each day. And it is a very celebratory atmosphere. There's a live chat on Zoom, and then there's also a live Festivus area on the AI Salon where you can go hang out with people and post things. If you're making things or getting inspired, you can go do that. So if you go to community.thesalon.ai, I think that the Festivus space is live now, live and out there. So you can go sign up and just start chatting there. But yeah, that's the deal. Let's see. Greg Stokes, Sydney on ice. Add a layer of complexity. Wow, I need that. Sonia, absolutely come to Festivus. It's life-changing. I mean, in fact, one of the sessions is a woman talking about, she was at Festivus last year. She was unemployed, didn't know much about AI, came to Festivus, got inspired, realized she could figure this AI stuff out, spent the next year figuring it out, is now employed helping a local, a town. Yeah, I think helping a local town figure out AI and how to use it. Oh no, it's a newspaper. She works for a local newspaper in a small town. And she's having the newspaper understand how to use AI to maximize their staff because, small town newspapers are struggling financially. So they're using AI on both the money side of the business and the editorial side of the business. So cool. This is so new to me. I found you through search. That's awesome. That's awesome. Sonia, here's the thing. I want to show you something. If you could, Brandon, pop this up. So if you go to the AI Salon, community.thesalon.ai, so down the left-hand side are all these different areas, but right at the top, there's a little section called Start Your Adventure. And the very first, where you get dropped when you join the salon, is you get dropped into Welcome to the Salon. One of the things that we talk about in the AI Salon, and we've talked about this, the AI Salon was founded, our first public meeting was December 7th, 2022. ChatGPT launched November 30th, 2022. So we basically founded this the week ChatGPT came out and had our first meeting, a week later. One of the things that's been the hallmarks of the salon community is this, what we call the cycle of AI readiness. We used to talk a lot about AI literacy, and we got away from that because AI literacy implies that it's a thing you can learn, and it's not. AI is not a thing you can learn. That would be like saying I've learned the internet, right? Or like the World Wide Web. Like what part of it? What are you doing? Like the internet is this ubiquitous technology that's across everything. That's where AI is headed. And AI is also moving so fast that you can't actually keep up with it. In fact, this channel started as an attempt for me to try to keep up with it. I thought if I go live, every night talking about what's the latest thing in AI, I'll be able to keep up with it. And, for those who've been here for a while, you've watched me go through this transition where I just basically gave up on that because I couldn't keep up. It was very stressful and you can't keep up. You literally can't if you do it 24 hours a day. But AI readiness, we can be ready for AI. And how are you ready for AI? Well, you're curious, you're adventurous, you're adaptable, right? And so these are kind of the three modes that we talk about being in. Play first is literally that. Play with AI. Like play with it. And what does play mean? Play means engage with it without expectations. what a lot of people do with AI when they start is they're like, okay, I'm a project manager, so I'm going to go learn how to use AI for project management, and I'm going to make my project management more efficient with AI. And it's a very linear sort of thing, right? It's this very I'm going to do what I do. The AI can be good at that. And historically, that's the only way we've used computers, right? When computers were not general intelligence capabilities like AI is now, they were programmed to do very specific things. So a new technology would come out and you'd use it to make the thing that you currently do more efficient. What you lose in taking that approach exclusively is there's a bunch of other things that AI makes possible that are non-obvious. Like, yeah, it can probably be good at helping you do project management more efficiently, but there's also ways that it can do project management you never would have considered, or you never even knew possible. And then there's things beyond that of like things that you know you're bad at that because of AI you can now be good at. So the only way you can discover those things is to put yourself in this play mode, get yourself into a curious mode, a playful mode, remove any expectations and just start playing with AI. Do things like join the AI salon, join communities, start hanging out on these lives. And in playing, you'll learn what's possible and it will blow your fucking mind. In fact, one of the things that we talk about when you're playing with AI, if you haven't had what we call your first Kevin McAllister moment, which is that moment from the movie Home Alone where Kevin McAllister puts on his dad's aftershave, that moment. Generative AI is a rolling series of Kevin McAllister moments where you're like, I didn't know that was possible. Holy crap. So your goal with playing is to have those moments and to really understand it. Once you play, then you start to learn what's possible. Then you can move into that next phase of create excellence. Now you can start to say, okay, now that I understand a little bit of what's possible, now I'm going to go try to build something. And I'm going to try this thing they call vibe coding, or I'm going to go make images in Midjourney, or I'm going to go like, I don't know, do a project plan and do it in a creative way, whatever it might be. You do it with intentionality, taking what you learn, and then generously lead. This is really important, and this is what's at the core of the Salon and She Leads AI and Festivus, is share what you're learning. Learn out loud. In fact, we have a thing within the AI Salon called Learn Out Loud. Vicky, who's on the call, she's one of the irregulars in here. She runs this program for the AI Salon called LOLs, Learn Out Louds. So anyone in the community can teach anything. They're going to learn out loud. I'm going to teach you how I did this thing. Why is that important? Because no one can keep up. So someone who's figured something out, telling the rest of us, hey, here's the thing I figured out. This is kind of cool. Did you know if you did this thing in Notion and then you did this and you connected it to ChatGPT, you could do this? Right? Kelly Camp did that LOL a while ago. Vicky just did one this past weekend on using Lovable inside an AI-powered browser and why that's a super cool thing. Anyway, that's cool. Have you tried building apps with video code app? No, I'm mostly a Lovable guy right now. I think about using other tools, but Lovable's just, for me, Lovable. Here's why I like Lovable. Lovable is ADD friendly. All the other IDEs and more substantive development environments that use AI, they require a little bit too much attention to detail. You're lovable, Kyle. Thank you, Mary. I like to use Lovable because it's kind of what I am, a little lovable. Anyway, so go join the AI Salon. Go register for Festivus. Community.thesalon.ai. Join. Go hang out in the Festivus room. Is the Festivus room live, Brandon? Can you see? Do you know? Yes. Good. So here, let me show you. So down, right below Start Your Adventure is AI Festivus 2025. Okay? So right now, it's just here's the run of show. So here's what's going to be in Festivus. And then once we go live, we're going to add a chat area and a posting area where you can post, pictures and movies and shit you build. Okay. The other thing that you should consider looking at is the AI Salon Mastermind. So if you're under Learn and Grow, you can scroll down here and look at the AI Salon Mastermind Practice Lab. And we talk about what we do there. And the whole idea with the Practice Lab is it's a weekly meeting where we talk about creating a daily practice around AI. And so if you're a member of the AI Salon Mastermind, which is a subscription area of the salon, it's $20 a month. That's going to go up January 1st. So if this looks interesting to you, you should consider joining it. The Mastermind practice is a framework that we've created for creating a daily practice around AI. And it's like, putting yourself at the center, not the technology at the center. One of the things that I'm seeing consistently in groups that talk about AI is they lead with the technology. The AI Salon is very much about leading with the human at the center, right? How am I as a person taking who I am and what I value and the difference I want to make in the world? And how am I bringing that into the world? And so, we've got this idea of a mastermind practice is a conscious, ongoing relationship with your craft. It's a mirror of your values. It's a discipline of curiosity. It's a living process, and it's a container for imperfection, right? Like we're all learning right now. And so the framework is this 9-component framework, center the human. So a daily practice starts with you at the center. And then we've got play with purpose, learn across domains, raise your game. We just did this one last week. We have this week off. Next week, it's going to be about professionalizing your practice. Then it's about create and contribute, practice in community, think critically and act ethically, and then reflect and renew. So the whole idea of the daily practice is daily putting yourself at the center, Who am I? What do I want? What difference do I want to make in the world? What are my values? What is excellence to me? What do I want to build? What do I want to build? How do I want to make a difference, right? TikTok pin. Damn, so happy I joined today. Me too, Sonia. That's exciting. No, we got this. Listen, this is me as a deliverer of the message I delivered a little frivolously here, just because it's the nature of who I am. But also just if I'm going to go live nightly, it's got to be entertaining to me. So like this channel is essentially me entertaining myself, and anyone who wants to hang out can hang out. But what it actually is I'm creating this space where the community here can get to know one another and practice and play and, use the AI Salon community site as their home base. Okay. But the whole idea here, what I am deeply passionate about is I know a couple of things. I know that AI is massively transformative. It's going to change everything. I was there for the early days of the World Wide Web. That was a very simple technological advance, very simple, that changed the world. And I got to experience that kind of from the inside of it. AI is, if you take the innovation that was the World Wide Web and you amplify that by, 10,000 or 1 million, I don't know yet. Generative AI is significantly more transformative than the World Wide Web. And it's moving a lot faster. And so the one thing that I know this, it's not going away. And it's going to keep growing. And it's growing exponentially. And we've never, as humans, ever had to deal with exponential technological advancement. It's always been linear. So we're in a moment right now that we've as a species never been in the presence of. It's that significant. And then if it's not going away, and assuming it's transformative and it's not going away, then we only have two choices. You only have two choices. You can deal with it or not, right? And there's a lot of people right now choosing to cross their arms and go, I don't like it. I don't like this AI. It's taking jobs away from humans. It's the world's greatest plagiarism machine. Just fucking bitching and bitching and bitching and bitching. And a lot of the things that they're pissed off about, they're not wrong. Like how AI was sourced, it was unethically sourced. Agree. AI models have deep bias in them because they're models that were based on the information that was stuck on the internet, which was largely stuck on the internet by privileged white people. Agree. Right? Agree. It was trained on copywritten materials. Agree. Like all these things are bad. And generative AI, as we know it today, would not exist had it not started, which seems obvious. But we're here. So we're not going to be able to put the toothpaste back in the tube. And so we have to deal with it. And so what this space is, what the AI Learning Lab is about, is just an opportunity for you on a regular basis to just be in the conversation. You don't have to be good. You don't have to be educated. Like one of the things that you're going to learn as you get into this AI stuff, it's fucking mind-bending how powerful it is. And you know what you need to know to be able to access all of that power? Just how to talk. Your words are your access to all of this power. We've never had anything like this. There's an amazing video. Let me see if I can go find it. I think it's from 1983. I don't know if this is the one. Wait, really? Yeah, this is it.
No talent at drawing at all can make neat drawings, and then I can cut them out and I can paste them into my documents so that I can combine pictures and words. And then I can send it onto the electronic mailbox so somebody else that's living here in Aspen can dial up a phone number
This is 1983 he's talking about this.
and get their mail and see this drawing that I made. So we're starting to break out, and you can just see it now. And it's really exciting. So where we are is that the personal computer is a new medium, and that society and computers are really meeting for the first time in the 80s. In 15 years, it's going to be all over in terms of this first phase, getting these tools out into society in large numbers. But during the next 15 years, if we have an opportunity to do it great, or to do it so-so. And what a lot of us at Apple are working on is trying to do it great. I want to look at one last thing, then we can talk about whatever you want to talk about. What is a computer program? Do you know what a computer program is? Anybody? No? Sort of? To cry.
Hang on.
You will, and it's somewhat limited, but example is the video game. What is, and you're King Hammurabi, because, oh, King Hammurabi, single pawn game follows these 100 people, and you have 100 acres enough, some of your people at one set of underlying principles. I didn't have to have an intermediary in the way. Teachers and a lot of mediocre teachers.
Okay.
And underlying principles. When I
wanted to find a specific part of this speech, so that's why I'm jumping around. But you can go find this. This is Steve Jobs' vision of AI.
I was going to school. I had a few great teachers and a lot of mediocre teachers. And the thing that probably kept me out of jail was books. because I could go read what Aristotle wrote or what Plato wrote, and I didn't have to have an intermediary in the way. And a book was a phenomenal thing. It got right from the source to the destination without anything in the middle. The problem was you can't ask Aristotle a question. And I think as we look towards the next 50 to 100 years, if we really can come up with these machines that can capture an underlying spirit or an underlying set of principles or an underlying way of looking at the world, then when the next Aristotle comes around, maybe if he carries around one of these machines with him his whole life, his or her whole life, and types in all this stuff, then maybe someday after the person's dead and gone, we can ask this machine, hey, what would Aristotle have said?
We can do this right now. We can do this right now. What Steve Jobs predicted in 1983, imagine a time when you could talk directly to Aristotle. You can go right now, search for Aristotle's complete works, take it to Notebook LM, upload the complete works to Notebook LM, or upload it to ChatGPT, or upload it to Claude, any one of these tools, and say, talk to me as if you're Aristotle. The Champy's excited about it too. This is largely for Sonia, but anyone who's here who is trying to figure out what the fuck this AI stuff is. Like, what is this? The irregulars have heard this so many times, they're gonna be like, oh, here he goes with the abracadabra thing. So in magic, there's this word abracadabra. Abracadabra. And it's a Middle Eastern word, I think. I don't know its exact origins. But the translation of it is, as I speak, I create. We live in a world right now with generative AI that we can literally speak things into existence. And it's like magic. And, you know, Pate Motter, who's an irregular who hangs out here, he works at Google. He's an engineer that works on making TPUs more efficient, which is a big, important job. But whenever I say AI is magical, it's not magic, it's math. And so we've agreed that it's mathemagical. But we really do live in this world right now where you can ask these tools to give you the answers to things you know you shouldn't have the answers to. Like that it shouldn't be possible that it knows this much, but it does. These mathematicians have figured out a way to embed knowledge into these things, into this place called the latent space, which is 1,000-dimensional mathematical space where you have instant access to the knowledge of humanity that it's been trained on. It's insane. And one of the things that struck me very early on when I started doing this show is it took me about a year and a half to get my head around the difference between the mechanism of how AI works and what my qualitative experience was. So the mechanism of how AI works is actually conceptually really simple. It's a probability calculator. So they take a bunch of knowledge and they do this thing called embedding, where it shatters the original source materials into these things called tokens, which are fragments of words, periods, spaces, fragments of words. And it shatters them into this 1,000-dimensional mathematical space. And I know this sounds like I'm making shit up, but this is literally what it does. So you've got this 1,000-dimensional mathematical space of fragments of words that are semantically clustered. What? Semantically clustered. So the word dog, for example, can mean like the dog that's whining to my left right here probably wants some cheese. And that dog would be in a semantic cluster of like pets and animals and human companionship. And there's another way to use the word dog, like he did his girl wrong, he's a dog. Oh, that's a disparaging way to talk about a man who's an asshole, right? You know, so same word, different semantic clusters. So all these tokens are, right? When you type in a prompt, what it's doing is it's making a probability calculation that the next token it should respond to you with is somewhere out there in latent space. And it finds the most probable token in 1,000-dimensional latent space, and it returns that to you. And it does that over and over and over again. So technically, it is a cold, simple probability calculator. And yet what you experience with AI is it's like, is it sentient? Is it human? My whole musical about this chatbot that falls in love with the tech reporter is about us confronting what it means to work with technology that is increasingly human. So for like a year and a half, I could not understand why a thing that was such a cold mechanical machine felt so human. And then there was this woman on TikTok, and she made a very simple post. And her post was, AI is the collective intelligence of humanity. And the minute I read that, I got full body chills. Because what I realized is that the reason AI is powerful and the reason you can speak things into existence is that you're not interacting with the calculator. You're interacting through the calculator to the collective intelligence of humanity. When you use generative AI, you're literally collaborating with the people that have come before us and whatever's been put on this crazy internet thing over the past 70 or 80 years. And so it is an oddly human experience. And your skills, if you're a good people person, if you're good at talking, if you're good with words, if you're good with asking for what you want, you're going to be great at AI. Hang on, I got to go let the dog get cheese. What do you want? What do you want, doggy? Your dog wants cheese. So anyway, I don't know if you're all still here. When I go on these rants, I have no idea if people are just leaving in droves. Let's see. Can that reach there? It cannot. What am I gonna do? I've got some serious logistical issues. My battery died on my thingy, on my light. There we go. All right. Anyway, okay. Thoughts. Drifted Studio. I'll watch over here for a while. Yeah, if I'm showing stuff on screen, it's better to be on YouTube. Cutting the cheese. Signing up. $20 million. Yeah, $20 million studio. Yeah, people don't know this, but I know this looks just like a shitty home office. But behind me, there are dozens of staff here, makeup people, hair people. What's the replay bundle? Okay, so for Festivus, you're gonna. I would strongly recommend you pick up the replay bundle for a couple of reasons. One is you'll have access to the replays. This is going to be 24 hours of programming. What many people do is they attend for all 24 hours. And in fact, so many did last year. We averaged last year 540 people per session on average. There were 2,500 people came over the 24 hours, but a lot of people stayed for all of them. And we got to the end of 2 days, 24 hours of programming, and people were like, can we keep hanging out? So I think we're going to have a hangout at the end of this. I'm pretty sure that's what we've talked about. But the replay bundle gets you access to all of those videos. A lot of the content over the 2 days is going to be like hands-on, here's how to do stuff content. So it's likely stuff you're going to want to go back and rewatch. And if you buy the replay bundle now, it's cheaper than if you buy it after the fact. So we've got it. It's a deal. And Brandon did the math. $27. It's $1.12 per hour to buy the replays, which is very reasonable. I don't think you can get a coffee. I don't think you can get a large coffee at Starbucks and one of their pretentious pastries for less than $27 anymore. What the fuck is going on? I went out. What did I go out for? Oh, I went out for, I don't know, burritos or something like that for the family. And it was like $85. I'm like, what the fuck is happening? It's ridiculous. AI Readiness training program. That is, so based on last year's Festivus, so something happened last year at Festivus. I talked earlier about, I started this channel talking about tools and technology and trying to keep up with all the stuff that was happening. And something shifted. And last year at Festivus, so basically a year ago this week, we did this thing called AI Festivus. We had 34 different speakers. And our rule with Festivus is talk about whatever you want. Like, we don't give a shit what people talk about. Just tell us what you're going to talk about, and then we'll put it in some sort of order. And 34 out of 34 speakers did not lead with technology. 34 out of 34 speakers were talking about themselves and what they wanted and what was important to them. And then they would say, oh, and here's how I'm using AI to do that or to further that or whatever it might be. And both Ann and I, you know, as we were co-hosting it, we were sort of reflecting on this in real time. We were like, there's something different here. Something shifted. Because the previous year, we did this thing called GPT for Good, where we had people show up, and for 24 hours, we built custom GPTs for nonprofits. It was by definition, it was in the name of the event. It was about the technology. We're going to make custom GPTs. And then we added 4 nonprofits, right? But what happened at Festivus was everyone, to a person, talked about themselves. CJ Fletcher, who was teaching how he makes images in Stable Diffusion, he said the most important thing that I do when I make my images is I sit down at the computer and I close my eyes and I take a deep breath. And he said, let's do that now. He had everyone close their eyes and take a deep breath. And he talked about that to make images, he has to be centered, and he has to be in touch with who he is and what he values and what he's trying to do in the world. And I thought that was just beautiful. So the AI Readiness training program is Anne and I and Vicky Baptiste extracted out not the specific things people talked about, but what were the lessons that were consistent across all of those talks. And we broke that into 5 different categories. And so that training program is kind of the lessons, the universal lessons that came out of those talks. And so it's directly tied to Festivus from last year, but it's really this abstracted out set of values and ways to think about AI from a business perspective and a creative perspective and a privacy and ethics perspective. And there's these 5 different areas that you can learn against. So really cool. Kyle and everyone, Merry Christmas. Thank you for all you do. Thank you for being here. Thanks for hanging out. All right. As a newbie who can code for the last 15 years, which one should I choose? Sonia, here's the good news. Because you're coming in later, it doesn't matter. I would personally choose ChatGPT because they are ostensibly the market leader. although Google Gemini, you could certainly argue, has caught up to them, if not surpassed them.
Hey, Kyle.
Yeah.
You were pontificating while we were chatting in the chat on TikTok. Sonya's asking specifically of the different upgrade options at AI Festivus. If you had to choose one, which one would you go with?
I would say at a minimum. So you can come to the thing for free. So AI Festivus is free. So I would say the most important thing is to carve out some time. And you know what's fun is if you're going to be with your family, like a thing you could do is say to your family, I've got a work thing. I'm going to be in the room for a day or two. You could do that. You could also bring your family. Like you know, it's not a bad thing to bring other people. But so I'd say time is the most important. I would say the replay bundle is probably the most immediately valuable, because I'm telling you, you're going to get to the end of 24 hours. And you're going to be like, I want to see that again. I want to go back and watch that. So that's the one for me that I think is the biggie. One thing you can do if you want to support, Festivus, because it's not free to us, like it's costing us money to put this on. We've got friends and family sponsorships. We've got a virtual trade show booth that just went live. So if you've got a brand that you want to put a brand in front of the people that are going to be here, and we've got traditional sponsorship. So I don't know if you're connected to a larger company or something like that. If you want to sponsor the event, that could be good. The AI Readiness training program is a big, robust training program where you watch some of the content from last year, learn the lessons from that, and then you go through the training. So that one's a bit of a commitment. But if you really want to dig deep on this stuff and really learn the fundamentals of AI readiness as opposed to AI literacy, that one's valuable. But that would be my thought. I would like to create some kind of donated pipeline using AI to segue for cancer research. Love that. Beautiful. The other thing you can help with, Sonia, there's if you scroll down the page, there's an area that says help us get the word out. Especially if you have, or if you know people with big followings, that's a whole kit of graphics that you can just, I think they call them swipe graphics. The cool kids call them swipe graphics. That area that says help us get the word out, if you click on that link, it'll take you to a whole bucket of swipe graphics that you can go promote this and say, hey, I'm going to go to AI Festivus. We want to get as many people there as possible. I mean, the mission really is to give people a leg up. And, you know, in this kind of downtime between, you know, during the holidays, why not be in the presence of remarkable people who are transforming their lives using AI? That's what this is really about. This is really about, I mean, especially for someone like you, Sonia, who's like, you know, I was searching for AI and I stumbled upon this crazy ass live and this weird old man talking on TikTok or wherever you found me. And then you found the salon. You're like, oh, this seems good. And then you found this is the week of Festivus. Like, your timing's really good. We want as many people as possible to understand that if AI isn't going away, and you don't need a math degree to be able to use it, you can just use your words, and it can do remarkable magical things. Then you should do that. And that's what this is about. So spread the word. I want to figure out autoimmune disease. So Sonia, yes. So you and me both. I've got 2 twin boys upstairs with chronic Lyme disease. They've got all sorts of complications from it. My wife's got autoimmune disease. Like, I am deeply familiar with the autoimmune carnival, perverted carnival. Yeah. And that's, you know, that's the thing. You know, it's funny. a lot of times people are really pissed off about AI. They're like, yeah, it's just the world's greatest plagiarism machine. You're stealing from the artist. You know, they're all just all pissed off. And I'm like, are you cool with like if someone uses AI to cure cancer or autoimmune disease, you cool with that? Oh yeah, that's fine. Okay, so it's the same thing. Like all of the science advancements, that was all based on papers that scientists wrote that you have to pay for. So it's literally the exact same thing, right? That as you're bitching about over here, but you want it over here. My argument is with how these things have been trained is if OpenAI or any of these labs had asked for permission, everyone would have said no. They'd have never gotten permission. Because they're Silicon Valley, they're like, fuck it, let's break it first and then let people sue us. And that's what they're doing. And so all those lawsuits are going to happen. All that stuff's going to normalize over time, just like sampling did with hip hop music in the 80s. It was a travesty at first, and it wasn't real music, and they're stealing from us and all that stuff, and then they worked it out. So the same thing's going to happen here with the intellectual property. But what this is this is literally, we have figured out as a species how to condense knowledge into instant access and intelligence into instant access. Why would you not at least be interested in understanding what it makes possible? But I think medical breakthroughs are going to be massive. And what's fascinating is I showed 2 weeks ago, I showed a couple of videos. One was a 60 minutes piece on a high school in Georgia that have a special science class that people literally move from all over the country to get their kids into this high school to have a shot at being one of the 10 kids that makes it into this program. These kids came up with, using CRISPR technology, DNA gene editing technology, they came up with a test for Lyme disease that is effective within 2 days of being bitten. And they think it's effective enough that they're going to actually turn it from a diagnosis tool into a treatment tool. They're in high school. And there was another story of a kid who was 17 that did some other remarkable thing. I think that we're going to start to see breakthroughs from people who are passionate about something, like you with autoimmune disease, because you're focusing this new tool on the thing that you're passionate about. This is the AI Salon Mastermind practice. The whole idea of it is, instead of us fighting against AI, what if, just as a possibility, we say the most important component in the equation is the human being. And it's really you. You're the most important component in AI. And then you start to ask yourself, okay, if I've got this tool where I can do anything, what do I choose to do? Well, I don't know. Like, you're the only one that can answer that. So the things that you're passionate about, the change that you want to make in the world, the thing that you want to solve, what you can now do is retire the idea that you don't have the smarts or the knowledge or the resources to be able to make a difference in that area. You can let that go. That puts a lot of pressure back on you to know what the fuck you want to do. But that's the world we live in. Ending on a high note. What is that? Oh, okay. I don't even know what that is. Let me go click on. I got something to click on from producer Brandon here. Oh, this is awesome. Is this live? It is. Holy shit. Okay. So I want you all to go to the Apple App Store. If you are an Apple, if you're an iPhone owner, So Side Hustle Mimi in here. So, okay, so the thing that I just said, remember I said you can shed the idea that you can't do something? So Side Hustle Mimi, Noemi, is not a programmer. She's not a programmer. She doesn't program. She doesn't write iPhone applications. And yet, Coqui Cuties, COQUI Cuties, cute Puerto Rican frog stickers, she made an app that lets you get all these cute little stickers. Okay? This is, oh, I wanted to tell you sooner, but I was putting up my tree. So first of all, congratulations. Second of all, for Sonia in here, and for all of you who are like, what is this AI stuff? Who is this crazy person talking about AI as if it's an optimistic, as if it might make a difference in our lives? Here's an example of a human being that said, I want to put some joy in the world, and I want to celebrate my culture and my heritage. And you know what'd be cool? And where she started with making an app to help people, I think, with mental health, if I'm recalling that correctly. And what she came up against is mental health stuff is highly regulated, so you can't just make an app that gives advice and you have to follow the regulations. So she hit a roadblock where she had to deal with some stuff. But she learned enough in vibe coding, that first app, that she thought, oh, I have this idea. And so she taught herself how to not only make the app, but be able to submit it to the Apple App Store. Now, I've got my company, we've got an app in the App Store. It is not a simple process to get something into the App Store. You have to have like these screens, and you have to have descriptions, and you have to have privacy policies, and you have to like all this shit, right? You can't just stick something up there. It's work. And so she is now a full, so it's 99 cents. So here's what I would say. How many people here? There's 27 people here. Do me a favor. If you have an iPhone, go buy this app. It's 99 cents. I got rejected, super bummed, and then I resubmitted, and voila. There you go. Go buy her app and go get some cute Puerto Rican frog stickers to put into your chats and however you use them. I'm so old, I don't know how to use stickers. I think I made some at some point. But how cool is that? Congratulations. This is the world we live in now. Abracadabra. As I speak, I create. We can literally talk things into existence. Well, what am I supposed to do? What tool am I supposed to use? None of that matters. What matters is, who are you? What difference do you want to make in the world? Noemi said, I want to make the world a better place. I want to celebrate my heritage. I think Puerto Rican frogs are cute. Right? And now this is in the world. Not because of AI. Because of her. It was her idea. AI enabled her to do that, right? AI was the conduit, the amplifier of her ideas. So anyway, that's the world we live in now. And that's time. Yeah, we're getting to be time. Okay. Thursday and Friday. Or no, Friday and Saturday. AI Festivus. I'll be here tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. Come back tomorrow night. Bring your friends. Bring your family. We'll do another something tomorrow. And then we'll take a couple of days off for everyone to go celebrate and do what you do. And then Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific, Festivus starts, baby. And the marathon begins. All right? Side Hustle Mimi. Thank you. I could not have done it without you and my friends here. Yeah, this is absolutely a community here, right? And in fact, you know what, Noemi, like it might be good at some point to have you do an LOL. Maybe you should connect with Vicky and see if you want to do an LOL on how you did this. Because I know that I could figure this out, but you already have figured this out, right? how to vibe code something, get all these screens together, get all the application together, submit it. You've done it now. I'm really, really proud of you. That's awesome. It really is incredible. All right, cool. Oh, my LOLs in March already scheduled. So that goes back to our cycle of AI readiness. Generously lead. So Noemi played, figured out how to do some stuff, figured out some vibe coding, then decided to create excellence. I'm going to try to make an iPhone app, and she did. And then she's like, now I'm going to try to publish it to the App Store, create excellence, and she did, and she succeeded, and it's live. It's there right now. And now she's moving on to that third step of generously lead. She's going to tell us what the hell she did. That's the cycle of AI readiness, right? She's establishing herself as someone who's a critical thinker, a creative thinker, and someone who can do good work and is willing to share what she learned along the way. That's the AI Salon. TikTok question. What's an LOL? An LOL is a program that we have within the AI Salon. LOL stands for Learn Out Loud. And a Learn Out Loud is anyone in the AI Salon community can teach anything they've learned. And so Vicky Baptiste, who's an irregular in here, I'm pretty sure she's in here tonight, she runs that program. So if you reach out to her, she'll put you on the schedule and you can teach the community something that you've learned. All right, that's what it is. All right, fantastic. I'm out of here. Have yourself a fantastic night. Sonia, thank you for your questions and enthusiasm and finding us. Tell your friends, tell everyone you can about Festivus, and all of you else do the same thing. Talk about Festivus. Get the word out there. Let's get as many people signed up as we can in the next 3 days. And then let's kick some ass on Friday. All right? LinkedIn blast. That would be awesome. Yes, please. And in fact, make sure go to the help us get the word out section of the AI Festivus website, and you can see swipe graphics there, so you can make a nice post with the graphics and everything. All right, and all the information. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. That was a peppy night. I'm excited. That was fun. I covered some stuff I haven't talked about in ages. I like doing that. All right, everyone. I'm going to get out of here, go deal with my voice, which is now hoarse and dry. I've got to get in shape for Friday and Saturday. All right. Peace out. I'll see you then.